So I really debated doing this video, just because with everything that's going on, and I knew that I was crazy busy with work, and then the eclipse was today, and now I'm getting ready for Crunchyroll Expo, which means I'll be back in California for the first time in a couple of years, on Thursday. We'll actually be in Santa Clara, so I'll be a ways away from LA, but I mean, if you guys could still come out and see me, that'd be great, and yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and draw attention to the fact that today is actually a very, very special day for me. I debated a content warning on this, to be honest with you, because I wasn't really sure. But I'm just going to go ahead out and say it. For those of my friends and everybody else who have known me throughout all the years and everything like that, know that the last couple of years have been really rough on me. Understatement. I've made a lot of stupid mistakes. I have hurt a lot of people with my actions and my words and stuff like that, and believe me when I say karma is definitely a bitch, and I've been experiencing it firsthand. I saw something the other day that it was one of those truth posts that you are upset that applies to you, but knew that you need to see it, and I was kind of glad that I saw it when I did, and it was pretty much something saying that karma is that one thing, but pretty much something about karma pretty much treating you the way that you've treated others, and that's literally the only way people are going to learn from their mistakes, stop being such shitty people. And that definitely applied to me. So, because I have just not been the best person. So, I mean, I know that you guys know me for, online, and the persona that I put out and everything like that, and that's all well and dandy, but the fact of the matter is that I have done a lot of bad things to a lot of bad people. Or really, a lot of bad things to a lot of good people. And I have had bad things done to me. And to be perfectly honest with you, it took a lot for me to just kind of really understand that. And so I was grateful for that. And just for, I guess, all the mistakes that I've made and everything like that, and just being the type of person that I just promised myself I never would be. And I became that person. And just to make a long story short, today is my anniversary. And I'm smiling. It's not a romantic anniversary or anything like that, but it is easily one of the most important dates. And 2 years ago, on this day, my father walked in on me after a very, very, very large overdose. And it was intentional. 2 years ago today, I tried to kill myself. And I was almost dangerously successful. There was so much going on in my life at that point, and it just seems crazy to think that I would get here, or at least just, make it here. I mean, at this point, I'm really just kind of going off of, oh, damn, I didn't plan to get this far. But 2 years ago, I tried to kill myself, and, it's just kind of crazy to think that I'm actually here talking about this, and with everything else that has gone on over the last couple of years, and yeah, so today's my anniversary, and I'm here. I suppose I should have, some kind of humongous, heartfelt message to give out to people who feel like, they're at the end of their rope, or what have you, but I really don't. I am honestly all for autonomy, which basically means, I don't look at people who have attempted suicide or wanted to try and commit suicide or feel like they want to die as just well, you should live on, and I can't give you all that positive hope and bullshit that things are going to get better, because to be perfectly honest with you, sometimes they don't. And that's the world that we live in, and I know that sounds negative and everything like that. But I mean, I can't give you that false hope that things are going to get better, or that things, won't get better. I really don't know. I honestly and truthfully believe, and this is not going to be a very popular opinion, but I honestly and truthfully believe that you are in control of your own life. If you want to go, you go. If you want to stay, you stay. In my case, I didn't intend on staying. I'm here now. So 2 years ago, my father walked in, and I had left a 6-page suicide note dedicated to my most current ex-boyfriend, my closest friends, my family, dad, mom, stepmom, sister, and just really was done. I was so done. And looking back on it, I mean, it's weird. It's like I don't have the words to kind of just describe what pushes somebody to that end. I can't put it into words. Despair. I mean, everything that had gone up to that point, even to stuff that, that I'd been still trying to come to grips with, things that I hadn't addressed in the past, trauma that I had not overcome both as a child and as an adult. Sorry, I feel like I'm just kind of prattling, but I mean, like, what do you say about shit like this? I really don't know. But, I mean, it's just interesting to think of everything that has happened in 2 years. Or in at least just the last year. I've bounced from place to place to place to place to place to place to place. And the one good thing that I will say about that is that I've learned. I've learned a lot. I've learned that there are actions that I have to atone for eventually, make up for eventually. There are people I still have to apologize, people I still very much want to apologize to, and people that I have to forgive. And one of those people, honestly, is myself. I let myself... one of my main things is that I have a lot of guilt towards a lot of different things that have happened in my life. Sorry, camera cut out. And there are just some things that I just have not really been able to forgive myself for. And I guess it's just a matter of, well, now that I'm here and 2 years away from 30, maybe it's time for me to stop running and just face the shit that I have done. And that's all I've ever known. Run, 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 run. I run from my fucking problems like you wouldn't believe it. I make excuses for myself. I push my problems off on other people. I have blamed people for shit in my life they had absolutely no control over. For why I am the way that I am. And I'm not talking about the people who, have caused me trauma in the past. I am talking about good people who only wanted to help me, who wanted to love me and care about me and stuff like that. And the fact is, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, it has just come to my attention that maybe over the last couple of years, it's just I don't know how to love. And I mean that sincerely. There are people in my life that I care about so desperately. I'm shaking, I'm sorry. People in my life that my world would just stop were to ever lose them. And for those people who have just honestly done everything they can to help me, to support me, to love me, when I could not love myself, for the people in my life that are no longer in my life, and because I drove them out of my life. And for the people who stuck around, I feel like that's the people who I really just have to get better for. This would be my roommate's cat, if you see just kind of creeping up. And, I'm just sorry. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I just don't really know what to say. But yeah, so something that I promised myself that I was going to do, and there's a lot of changes that have been going on. Just huge. One of the changes being going back to California very soon. I know I've been saying that for years, and now it's actually finally happening. I know that you guys know that I am now working for a Blurred-owned company called Noir Cesar, and I absolutely love it. I feel like they honestly did save my life. And so to preserve what I have and everything that I have accomplished up until this point, I've got to stop running, got to face forward. And my thing is, my recovery and everything like that, as far as like depression and BPD, suicide attempt, just everything that has just gone on has not been linear. I mean, I wish, but it hasn't. But the one thing that I can say that I am proud of myself for is that I'm still here. I mean, I'm always going to have those suicidal ideations, whatever you call them. It's always going to be in the back of my mind. But that I'm at a point in my life where it's just like, okay, I actually want to fix things that I've screwed up in the past. I want to be a better person. I don't want to be like such a shitty person. And going back to California, which I can only thank Noir Cesar for, I'm very happy about that. So, is one of those things. For the longest time, I've been, and everybody knows this, for the longest time I've been trying very hard to get my mother out of the nursing home and just get back to California because I felt like that's where I was not only the happiest, but that's where I flourished the most. But it's also where, you know, everything compounded. I mean, just head on. And that's because I hadn't addressed a lot of things in the past that I've been carrying with me even before California. You know, and I've made a lot of good people suffer. And that's not who I want to be anymore. I mean, if I wanted to keep running, I wouldn't return to California. And I promised myself that if I made it this far, that if I could just get the opportunity to go back to California to be better. Sorry, I'm shaking. And be better, that I would address everything that I'd done in the past. I would confront. I wouldn't run anymore from the opportunities that I have just so marvelously squandered. And yeah, so I'll be going back to California relatively soon. I'm very happy about that. Everybody knows that I started the GoFundMe Kickstarter thingy for my mother and I to get back to California. I left that in the hands of somebody I trusted very deeply. I said, you know what? I don't want to be disappointed if I don't make my goal. So, and I talked to that person very recently, and I gave her all the account information, somebody I trusted very, very, very dearly. I didn't want to look and be disappointed and thinking, damn, I didn't meet my goal. Like, and you know, while I'm working to and just save up and add to that. And she told me that, well, we haven't made our goal, it's still enough. It's still enough. So, that was sorry I'm shaking. I'm just like, I don't know what to say really. But, yeah. So, there's a lot of good things going on, with Noir Cesar. They bought 2 of my very first manga. So, I don't know how to feel about that, to be perfectly honest with you. It just doesn't seem like a dream, because I always used to think, if we're going to be talking about nerdy stuff, that I always used to hate the fact that I couldn't draw, or I couldn't be some kind of visual artist or something like that, and that writing just seemed like a lame power, when it's the only thing that I think has ever been constant in my life. Like I said, for those of you who know me for years, I have been talking since I was maybe 2 years old, and writing since I was 3. Writing is my life. It is the only thing, it's the only constant in my life. That no matter how much the world changes, no matter how much I change, writing has just been that constant in my life. And I never thought for a second that I would actually get this opportunity to write comics and write manga and, you know, stuff like that. So, sorry, I'm trying to shake. It's the anxiety. Y'all gotta forgive me. There's just a lot that's been just happening. But it's because there's a lot that's been happening, along with going back to California for Crunchyroll Expo, which is going to be in Santa Clara. So I'll be a little ways out from LA, so I'm very sorry about that. But I will be returning to California very shortly after Santa Clara. And I'm very, very excited about that. But that's why I just kind of wanted to address what all has been going on. Because I see how far I've come. I'm not an easy person to love or get along with. I'm very open about that. I have a lot of faults. And all of the traits in me that I swore I never, ever would become, I became. I'm angry all the time. I'm too depressed all the time. I try and get this persona, or push off this persona on people, that I'm like this big badass bitch, but I'm not. Like, I'm a scared, insecure, like, little girl who's pretty much got like the emotional capability and coping skills of realistically a 10-year-old. I'm emotionally stunted when it comes to a lot of things. And for some reason the video just keeps cutting off, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just try and wrap this up. But I mean, the real me is very selfish, she's finicky, she's picky, she's negative, she is angry, she's not one of the very best people. I'll be honest. But it's because I can now openly acknowledge those traits within myself that just kind of make me who I am. I mean, I'll be 30 in a couple of years. I'm tired with just all the pretending to be somebody that I'm not and worrying if people are going to love me for that. And to be perfectly honest with you, I am afraid to love at this point. Not because I'm afraid of being hurt, which is funny because one of my soulmates, Adrian, we actually talked about this the other day, and the reason that I'm afraid to love or to get close to people, why I've been so hesitant to get close to people in the last couple of years, is because I know I'm toxic. I'm violently toxic, and I have tried very hard to work on that as a person. And I don't want to poison anybody else with this part of me, for lack of a better word. And I am working on that. And getting back to what I was saying, about with me being afraid to love, it's not because I'm afraid of being hurt. Now, it's kind of that, but I'm gonna address that in a second. It's more that I'm afraid of hurting others. And now it's to the point where I fully understand that hurting others does hurt me. But it's not about me. It's about me not being able to be such a shitty person. And, oh my god, I can't stop shaking, I'm sorry. That's not who I want to be anymore. I've decided. I mean, I can't keep going. Blaming others for my mistake. Remaining angry at people who have long since hurt me and vice versa, and just, I can't carry that weight anymore. I've got too many good things going on in my life right now. I've got too many things to be grateful for. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't want to be that person. I've worked very hard on not being that person. I've met a lot of good people who have let me into their lives and have let me stay regardless. And the people who are no longer in my life, even by my own means, because I shoved them out or I didn't treat them the way that I should have. I didn't treat them kindly, even when they only wanted to love me. And that's the thing about me and love. Before I could love, I really, really had to see just how much I was loved. And that is something that has taken a very, very, very long time for me to come to grips with. Yeah. So, I mean, thank you for everybody who has just stood by me. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on you, when I gave up on myself. I'm sorry for what I put my family through. I'm sorry for what I put just so many good people through. And I will try and be a better person. I mean, I've been trying to figure out how to say this for so long. But I guess going forward, and one of the people that I really have to forgive more than anybody else is myself. Forgive myself for a lot of the stuff that I've done and carrying just so much guilt. I've been living in the past and it almost cost me my future. And I'm tired. Going forward, when I return to California, there's a lot of people that I do want to see. And if they don't want to see me, that's okay, because I totally would not want to see me either. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I'm looking outside of me. I'm looking at me objectively. Oh boy. It's not been something easy to do. But that's yeah, that's where I am. So I just wanted to thank everybody. Give you guys kind of like a not so pretty look at the real me. And honestly try to figure out who the real me is. I've just been so consumed with trying to be this person that everybody would like. And I've always had that issue, even being like even from like a young age. I want people to like me so much that it didn't matter what I did or who I hurt or what. I'm just like, okay, as long as I can fit in, that's all I wanted. And that's that's what happens when, you know, you just are always so excluded by your peers, by your friends, by your just everybody. I mean, I've always been the outcast. You know, even before I made myself the outcast, there was always something wrong with me, and I just couldn't figure out why didn't people like me when I was younger? Why did people make fun of me? Why did people bully me? Why did people just do this, that, and the third? Like, you know, and eventually it just turned me hollow. And, I mean, that's not who I want to be anymore. I'm slowly coming to realize who I am and what my values are and where I lie as far as, like, my hopes and my dreams and my goals for the future. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's still very unclear what it is that I want to do, but I have a general picture of what it is that I want to do with my life. I want to keep modeling. I want to finally get all my fucking tattoos, get that taken care of. I want to continue to write comics and just in general. I want to go forward. I want to live. So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I am less than 2 years away from 30 actually. And I think now is a really good time to just kind of go back. And that's the one thing that I can say that I am proud of myself for, is that I'm not going to run. I can't run. I can't run anymore. I'm tired. So I did promise myself and many others that if I was given the opportunity to make it this far, to get back to California and finally do what it is that I wanted to do with my life, I wouldn't run. I'd confront everything that I did. I'd go back to California and I'd try and make amends. I'd be more of a peaceful person. I'd take responsibility for a lot of shit that I did. And that moment has finally come. So, that's all I wanted to say. I just want to thank you guys again just for tuning in. I know I can be very long-winded, but thank you guys so much. For the people in my life that have loved me, even when I can't love myself, and for the people in my life who I've hurt or caused damage to, I know saying sorry isn't enough. I've got to show you with my actions. So, thank you. That's really all I wanted to say. Thank you, and yeah, so 2 years. I'm still here. Not quite sure how to feel about that. I'm probably always going to feel a little bit that way, but I am here. I'm alive. And I will continue to go forward. I can't make any promises about the future. And to be perfectly honest with you, there are some times where I really do believe that if I don't, die in an accident or something like that, that I will eventually kill myself. And I'm working on not getting to that point. But I'm also not going to apologize because that's just my reality. I can't give everybody that happy promise, and that's something that my life's been a lot of, making promises and breaking them. And I can't give people that promise that I'll still be here 5-10 years from now. But I can give people the promise that if I am, I'm just going to keep going. And I do know that I have people in my life that love me, people who care about me. So for them and for myself, I'm very, very, very recently just starting to learn to like myself. I don't like myself very much. But I'm starting to learn to like me. I mean, that accounts for something, right? Okay, yeah. Yeah, maybe one day I'll get to the point where I can love me, and then once I learn to love me, then I can truly, fully understand what it means to love somebody else. And that's honestly been the reason. Again, people are just like, well, what are you doing with yourself? You know, what about these boyfriends and everything like that? I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like, I'll cling to somebody as long as it doesn't make me feel alone. And I hate that. That's a dependency in itself. That's a sickness. And one day I really do hope that I can eventually learn to truly love someone. I want to be a mother one day. I want to be a mother and a wife someday. I don't want all these issues that I have in my past that have stopped me and stinted me up until now to infect my future. And I will continue to keep working on that. I want to know what it truly does feel like to love somebody. Now, whether or not I can actually say that I've ever loved somebody in my life, I do believe I have. As a matter of fact, I do believe there is, aside from family, of course, family and, speaking romantically, men, partners, girlfriends. I do believe that I'm slowly starting to love, and I do believe there's maybe been only one person in my life to this day that I think I've ever really loved. You know who you are. And that's, I think, when I was the happiest in my life. I really do. So, to that person, thank you for teaching me, I guess, what it did mean to love and what it meant to be loved. I don't know if you ever really loved me back, and I'm not just saying that. I'm really not just saying that. And if you did, I'm very grateful for that. And I think I'm only saying that because I just can't wrap my head around somebody as great as you loving someone like me. But, yeah, just in general. Thank you for people who have shown me love. I will continue to try and do my damnedest to work on me because I do want to eventually get to that point where I love me. I like me. Where I'm starting to like me. Working on it. It's not a linear path. But, yeah. I've got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of mistakes to make up for. But until then, thank you. So, thank you guys. I know this was a little bit long-winded, but thanks. 2 years and counting. Hey, it's got to account for something, right?